Okay, Father Miller here. Welcome back to the Nerd Father. I started a little bit late today because Father Sinatra's not able to make it, and John Trent from Bounding into Comics is going to be joining me in a bit. And as I just said in the chat, Miss Marta, if you're still watching, you want to join, you got the link. So just let me know if you want to join. So this is the first Sunday of June, a month devoted to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Unfortunately, it's at the point where I'm ready to sign off of social media because my Facebook timeline is being bombarded by pride stuff. It's everywhere. So I'm kind of sick of it. But anyway, but that kind of leads to an article I was just reading about. I've been seeing it on, let me bring it up. Twitter's been covering this. There was a drag show. Okay, Miss Martin says she can't join, but she wanted to say hi. So good to see us still. So I guess I've seen only a few clips of it. I can't play the clips because there's profanities in it. But supposedly in Dallas, where I will be in 2 weeks, had a Drag the Kids to Pride family-friendly drag show. This post gave me cancer, but play this.
Fight Cancer Facts is presented by Texas.
Speaking of which, fight cancer. So while we wait for that, let's see who's in the chat. Cassandra, well, like I said, one of these days I'll get it. Snorta Poopus, good to see you. Let's see. Mr. Roy is in the chat. Good to see you too. So, yeah, family friendly. It seems like a contradiction. Oh, there's the skip button. So, here we go.
This is the Drag the Kids to Pride event at Mr. Mister's in Dallas's Oaklawn neighborhood. Organizers promoted it as a family-friendly drag show where kids danced with the performers. What came with it were protests outside.
You people are
the symptom of a dying society, and you know it.
You're scaring children. Shut up. I live in this community. I have for several years.
Daisy says she first saw a poster for this event near where she lives.
I don't believe that I should be seeing signs advertising for children to be dancing on stage with men in thongs and in inappropriate clothing and makeup.
The organizers say today was a family-friendly event with a safe environment separate from their normal operations. In a statement, they said, "We believe everyone should have a space to celebrate who they are. Mr. Mister's is a place where everyone is welcome to feel accepted, safe, and included."
I've been here like every night throughout the week.
AJ Cruz has worked at Mr. Mister's for about 2 years now. He said today's event allows people to express themselves.
There was a lot less people drinking today, so that would make it more kid-friendly, just
Oh,
because
gee,
there's so
that's
many
nice.
people here. Everyone just came from all walks of life and, just enjoyed Pride.
Organizers said they've received threatening emails and phone calls from the protesters.
I do not in any way condone the behavior that these people are engaging in, but what drags me out here is it's kids now.
Dallas police said they went to the event and protest to assist with crowd control and cleared the scene once the event was over. In Dallas, I'm Jay Wallace.
Yeah, so this is pretty disgusting. Oh, Man of War, good to see you. Oak Lawn has always been something of a sewer, so yeah. Anyway, but let's see what the article had to say too. And I mean, the thing is, they had a clip on YouTube or Twitter of protesters following a drag queen who had taken off his wig, and it's just, yeah, dancers would take dollar bills from some of the children. This is almost as disgusting as the drag queen. I think it was Desmond is Amazing or something. That was like 5 years ago. It was like an 11-year-old kid that's dressing up as drag queen and dancing at gay bars, which I don't even have to begin to explain why that's inappropriate. So one woman protesting Daisy, who did not want to give her last name, first saw a poster. She was at the bar. She was at the bar after the event with Stop Grooming the Kids poster. Yeah. So that is what's going on. But like I said, it's at the point where I just really do not want to read social media or anything on there right now. But on some fun news, let me bring up the next article I was going to show. Well, this one isn't exactly fun news. I think I'll wait for John to get here. Let's see. So I was reading this earlier today. Let's see. Okay, so this is from Vanity Fair. Top Gun Maverick is the right's latest culture war crusade. Ugh. Let's see. Man of War says may lose stream 2 hours out of Denver. Service is terrible. So you're in the mountains, high elevation. So, but safe travels to you. So conservative media figures are hailing the blockbuster as a patriotic anti-woke display of militarism and masculinity. I think it's funny. Makes me want to go see the movie all the more again. I had a chance yesterday during some downtime to rewatch the original. It's on Amazon Prime, and I still stand by my review of Maverick that it is better than the original. The original was pretty good, but I think there are parts that haven't aged well. And this kind of goes along with the article, which was saying it was a product of military-industrial complex. So. And I love how they do this. Conservative pundits have taken the cultural war to the skies, hailing the blockbuster as a patriotic, anti-woke display of military. I already said that. It grossed $160 million over the long weekend, and I think it's like $50 million this week. So let's see. And again, usually with articles critical of it, it says it's Defense Department propaganda, inherent to most of Hollywood's military-themed creations. Whatever. Top Gun Maverick feels like a product of the 80s, a decade that saw the U.S. invading countries like Grenada and Panama, while also in the throes of the Cold War with Russia. It is an exhilarating, beautifully produced military recruitment ad that favors neither Republican nor Democrat. Yeah. Then it quotes Ben Shapiro. Let's see. So while citing a number of Hollywood's woke flops, John Nolte from Breitbart wrote that Top Gun Maverick avoided that fate by respecting human nature and eschewing progressive commentaries. Yeah. And it didn't do what Star Wars did, pervert a romantic adventure series into a shrill woman's studies lecture. Yeah, I mean, the thing that was nice about Top Gun is it was fun. You didn't really have to think about politics or anything. Oh, Snorter Pooper says The Wizard of Oz. I was just reading about this the other day, too. The Wizard of Oz is coming back to the big screen. I don't know if I'll go see it. I mean, it's been years since I've seen the original Wizard of Oz. I mean, it's one of those movies that was on every year when I was a kid. It was always on network TV. It was kind of like how The Sound of Music was on every year, and I think they still do. I don't know. But no, this week I was looking at movies because Tuesday is going to be my day off, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for my Tuesday. But I might go see Top Gun again. And hopefully the screen is big enough on this thing so that you can see the article. Let me just scream in a little bit more. Okay, that looks better. Yeah. Matthew Gertz. The thing about right-wing culture warring is that it's totally arbitrary, which lets them declare victory whenever they want. You know, the last movie that was really good was Spider-Man: No Way Home. And I'm not a big MJ fan. Yeah, I mean, okay, so it's the latest Hollywood production that commentators on the right have portrayed as a cultural war victory. Over the past year, conservatives have celebrated the success of Yellowstone, which I'll be honest, I've never seen. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. Don't really want to watch it. A drama that revolves around a Montana ranching family with Kevin Costner. And I'll tell you, I did see the Costner film Let Him Go, which was what was her name? Diane Lane, who, I'll be honest, was a childhood crush because back in the 80s, she was in a Kenny Rogers movie called Six Pack. It's like an early 80s movie. Love that movie. It's silly, but it's still fun. Anyway, in Let Him Go, Kevin Costner and Diane Lane are the parents of a son whose family is living with them. So it's Kevin Costner's son, his wife, and their child. Well, the son is killed in an accident. The wife moves on and ends up marrying another person and moves away. And it's about Costner and Lane trying to get their grandson to come home. It was good. It's kind of a hard movie to watch, but it was good. Meghan McCain said it's not woke. Well, I don't really care about Meghan McCain. Let's see. Going back to Snorter Poopas, who says, I have never seen it on the big screen, The Wizard of Oz. You know what? Yeah, I agree. I would say that. I know that back 20 years ago, when Star Wars was reissued on the big screen, I went to see a lot of those because I never got to see Star Wars as a kid on the big screen. I think, what was it? Episode 4 came out in 79. I was only 5. I do remember when Return of the Jedi was released. I think that was 83. Again, I would have been 9. Would have loved to have been able to see it. I don't know. Anyway, let me see. I just got a message. Just checking something. Oh. Let me see. Hold on for a second. Oh, gee. So my cousin just sent me a dental form that they had to fill out where it's asking for gender identity, male, female, male to female, female to male, male to female, choose not to disclose, sexual orientation, lesbian or gay, heterosexual, bisexual, something else, don't know. Yeah, that's kind of depressing. This culture really is depressing right now. Let's see, Chris Persia is in the chat. Good to see ya. Hope all is well. Gotta say, Friday Night Tights was amazing this week. I did get to watch a bit of it. Alex Jones and Salty Cracker, interesting combination. Yeah, Chris Persia. I saw the first two. I think it was when they reissued it. I think it was the 90s. It was supposed to be right before the new sequel movies came out, or the prequel movies. Do remember seeing them. I do have to thank Odin because I do have the Star Wars 477 4K edition, which is none of the additions, deletions that Han shot first. No Jabba the Hutt is added in the original one. So yeah, I really enjoy that. But the thing I just wish I could remember is when I saw Star Wars for the first time. I don't remember how old I was. I don't remember the experience. I've seen it so many times. I just don't remember what it was like to see it for the first time. So, yeah. I mean, that's the thing with a lot of movies. I do remember the joy I had seeing Lord of the Rings. I saw all three of them when they were in the theater. Loved it. So, but with the article, let me see, I think, went to the wrong page. Hold on. Oh, gee. Love this. Yellowstone is not exactly a straightforward conservative vehicle, though, as it recounts the U.S. government's attempt to sterilize indigenous women, features far-right anti-government antagonists, touches on cultural appropriation. Yeah. Anyway, this is a bunch of hooey. But like I said, it makes me want to go see the movie all the more again. I did pay a good amount of money to go see it in IMAX. I'm glad I did. But this time they have something in our theater which is kind of like a medium between IMAX and the regular screen. I think it's like DHX or something. I don't remember what they call it, but yeah, I'll go see it again. And I'll buy it when it comes out on 4K. Speaking of which, I think it's next week. I am supposed to be getting Father Stew in the mail. I ordered that on Amazon. It's supposed to be released next week, so looking forward to that. But yeah, some other news. Let's see, besides it being Pentecost, today is 50 days after Easter, which doesn't even seem possible. For me, this is, I think, almost 57 days since I've returned from my sabbatical. Doing good. I'm seeing the hematologist this Thursday. We're going to try to figure out what the heck happened. For those that don't know, I had a pulmonary embolism last fall, which actually turned out to be a blessing because it gave me a sabbatical, which allowed me to work on weight. It allowed me to do some healing and was really great for it. It also allowed me to be moved back to the big city, which if you've been following my streams, you know how much I miss the city. So extremely grateful for this. So this is an article from National Public Radio. Oh, gee, Man of War. Just tip 665. Let's see what you wrote. Drinking money. You already said that, I think. Drinking money, not funny book money. We'll be doing that. Nice thing again is, let's just bring this up real quick. So Man of War is referring to the get-together in Gators in Dallas in 2 weeks. A little or under 2 weeks. Let me bring this one up. So I've been looking at the bar menu and it looks good. I don't know. I got to find out from Gary what the plan is because the food looks good there. So the Nerdrotic Geeks and Gamers meetup is going to be at Gators in Dallas on the 16th. I'm excited. The 18th is my birthday. Last year, I remember the crew sang to me. So this is their menu. So the thing I'm excited about is the bar, the Phantom Menace bar we met up at last year didn't have much food, but this has a full bar and food. It's a restaurant. So I am looking forward to having some burgers and fries, but they also have some Cajun food. The jambalaya pasta looks really good. Penny pasta and a creamy Cajun sauce with chicken, shrimp, and sausage. But the thing that will be nice too is that it will be probably not as expensive as the Phantom Menace. So, really excited for that. But just pray the gas prices do come down soon. I filled up my tank the other day. I think the gas here has gone up 40 cents in the last week. So, but we'll probably come back to this with John in a little bit. He is currently putting his child to bed. This is from National Public Radio, which normally I would not go to for Catholic news, but they are citing a rumor that Pope Francis is going to be visiting the tomb of Pope Saint Celestin V, who was the first pope to resign. So when Pope Benedict resigned back in 2013, I believe, because Francis has been pope for 9 years, they talked about Celestine V, who is a saint, but wasn't a good pope. He didn't want to be pope, and they elected him anyway. And I think, if I remember my history, he reigned for a few months before he resigned. He was a hermit type of monk, known for his holiness. And if he wasn't known for his holiness, he wouldn't have been made a saint. So you can have a pope that is a saint, but a bad pope. Doesn't mean he's a bad man. It's just bad administrator. But again, that doesn't mean bad. So, and it says here that Benedict XVI stepped down in 2013. So, but one of the big things Francis did recently was appoint, I think it was 16 new cardinals, 21 new cardinals, 16 of which are under 80, which is the maximum age a cardinal can be to participate in the conclave. So if the Pope dies or if he resigns, it'll be maybe a week or so, where the see will be empty, and then the cardinals of the church will come to Rome and go into conclave, which means with key, where they'll be locked in the Sistine Chapel, and they will vote for a new pope. Now, the thing that is interesting is in the 9 years that Pope Francis has been the pope, he has appointed, I think it's about 2/3 of the cardinals that are eligible to become, or they're eligible to vote. So, but yeah, so the rumors that he might resign because Francis is using a wheelchair to get around. Okay. But yeah, so Pope Francis has appointed 83 of the 132 voting age cardinals. The chances that they will tap a successor who shares Francis' pastoral priorities become ever greater. The thing that everybody keeps forgetting is the role of the Holy Spirit in this. He who goes into the conclave of Pope comes out a cardinal, is the old saying. Now, the only exception to that rule was Cardinal Ratzinger, who became Pope Benedict XVI, because even I thought he was going to be the Pope, and I was happy he was the Pope. So, but he announced the cardinals to be made for August 27th, and it sounds like he's been trying to reform the Curia, the Roman Curia, the government, the governmental offices of the Vatican. I have not read the Apostolic Constitution it talks about, which is going to reform it. But from what it says, it allows women to head Vatican offices. Okay, I guess. Imposes term limits on priestly Vatican employees and positions of the Holy See sees as an institution at the service of local churches rather than vice versa. Okay. Francis was elected Pope in 2013 on a mandate to reform the Curia. I don't know about that. But now that this 9-year project has been rolled out and partially implemented, it seems that his main task as Pope has been accomplished. which, again, here comes why they mentioned Celestine V, that the Pope is going to visit where Celestine was buried. They say that the timing is notable because Italy and the Vatican are closed pretty much. Everybody's on holiday in late summer, early fall. So to have all the cardinals come in late August, don't know what's going to happen. Who knows? So, okay, yeah, so I got it right here. So Celestine V, a hermit pope who resigned after 5 months in 1294, overwhelmed by the job. So, yeah, and nobody expected Benedict XVI to resign. Nobody expected Benedict XVI to live even now. I mean, the fact that he's still Pope, or not Pope, but so let's see. Snortopoopa says gas was 459 here. So gas is right here, I think 445, might have been 450. But the sad thing is, it's yeah. Let's see. My parents just texted me saying they were seeing 495 everywhere. That's in Jersey, isn't it? It was 469 last Sunday. Yeah, so last week here it was 419, and today it's like 445, 450. So we just topped off the final leg. It was nearly $50 for 9 gallons. You know, the sad thing is it's still going to be cheaper to drive than to fly. As I said before, I really wanted to go to Philly this summer to go see my friends, but the ticket, round trip ticket, would have been $800. Not worth it. Snarky Pooper says I got 10 cents off a gallon because I went through the car wash. See, our grocery store here in this area has a deal where you can get a certain amount of money off per gallon if you buy certain objects from the grocery store. So I think the last time I went to the grocery store, I have 25 cents off per gallon. Would be nice, but anyway. So going back to Pope Francis. No Pope has traveled since to close out the annual feast, which celebrates the sacraments Francis, sacrament of forgiveness. So dear Francis. And yeah, I do remember this. Francis has praised Benedict's decision to retire as opening the door for future popes. He originally predicted a short papacy for himself of 2 to 5 years. Well, 9 years later. See, I did not realize this. The Pope is supposed to be traveling to Congo, South Sudan, Canada. I didn't know he was going to Canada. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's going to Canada because of the mess up there with the indigenous Kakistan. And he has scheduled a major meeting of the world's bishops to debate the increasing decentralization of the Catholic Church. Okay. But this is the thing. Yeah, so Francis has been hobbled. So if you've seen the pictures of him, like at the beginning of this article, he has been experiencing mobility problems. Namely, here it says strained ligaments in the right knee that have made walking painful and difficult. He has told friends he doesn't want to undergo surgery because of his reaction to surgery last July when he had 13 inches of his large intestine removed. Yikes. But it says talk of a papal resignation or the end of the pontificate was unfounded. So, again, you know what? It'll happen when it happens. Whether he retires or whether he dies, either one will happen. The question is when. Doesn't really make a difference for us. So he's not going to have 2 former popes floating around. So, anyway, that is that. So, let's see. So there was another thing. Oh, and I still had his comment up there. But yeah, this is another article too, going back to Pope Francis. This one is coming from ABC News, I think. ABC. For some reason, it's not showing. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is from ABC News. Actually, this is last month. Okay. But they say that the Pope's wheelchair uses an example to older adults. Well, we're coming up on almost 17 years since the death of John Paul II. Now, for me, it's a little weird thinking that as I go into teaching this fall, none of the students remember him. Heck, some of the younger priests that are just ordained barely remember him. But if you remember John Paul II, you know that he had severe troubles towards the end of his life with Parkinson's, not able to move, not able to talk, especially after they put the trach in. Basically gave dignity to life from all stages, from conception to natural death. So, but it says the top cardinal says Pope Francis's willingness to work despite knee pain has made walking nearly impossible. Shows other older adults that they have wisdom and experience to offer the younger generations. Okay, well, that's kind of obvious. Last week, so this would have been early May. He's seen in public for the first time using a wheelchair. And he recently said he can no longer walk and must rest his knee on doctor's orders. Okay, so yeah. That kind of gets back to the cardinals. One of the cardinals that Pope Francis announced last week was the Bishop of San Diego. I don't remember his name, but he is one that has defended Pelosi, which, anyway. I guess the Pope was supposed to go to Lebanon this month, and that has been postponed because of his health. Even though it eventually comes with the passage of time, no one prepares us for old age, and at times it seems to take us by surprise, Pope Francis wrote. Along with old age and white hairs, God continues to give us the gift of life and to keep us from being overcome by evil. Aging is not a condemnation, but a blessing. Again, as I said last week, we should never assume we're always going to have till tomorrow. We never know that. Again, I'm continuing to pray for my aunt who just passed away about 3 weeks ago, I think it was, unexpectedly at the age of 65. I just ask you to keep her in prayer as well. She never married, so let's see. Yeah, Snarpoopas, John Paul II never did fully recover from the assassination attempt. I remember as a kid, he was fully energetic, always getting on the ground to kiss the ground wherever he landed. He was a skiing pope. Even in '93, when he went to Denver for World Youth Day, he was climbing the Rocky Mountains. And I really wish I would have went to that event, but I was a freshman in college and didn't really have the chance. I wish I did, but I did get to see Pope Benedict when he came to New York in 2008. I was a deacon at the time, still in Philadelphia. A little Catholic history here. In 2008 was the 200th anniversary of Baltimore, Maryland being made the first archdiocese, because when America won its independence, Baltimore was the only diocese in the country. The whole United States fell under Baltimore, but the population had grown so much over the next 20, 30 years that in 1808, Baltimore became the first archdiocese, and New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and Bardstown, which is now the Diocese of Louisville, became 4 new dioceses in this country. So to commemorate the 200th anniversary, the bicentennial of these dioceses, the Holy Father came to America for a papal visit. And because I was in one of those dioceses that was celebrating its bicentennial, we got to go to the papal events. And that was truly amazing. But yeah, John Paul II was shot on May 13th, 1981, which is the feast of Our Lady of Fatima. A year later, he went to Fatima, to the shrine of Our Lady of Fatima, to put the bullet that almost killed him in the crown of Our Lady, because he always attributed, and I believe so, rightly so, that Our Lady saved him. I think it was a year later that he consecrated Russia to the Immaculate Heart, like Mary asked at Fatima in 1917. And then within a few years, you started to see the downfall of communism in 89. So, Chris Persia, thank you for the prayers. So, Kat is down here. She's not too happy. She wants to play, but that's okay. So I'm going to go for at least another 40 minutes. Hopefully John will be getting here soon. It'll be good to catch up with him. So going back to the Pope Francis article. Yeah, so it looks like that was about it for that one article. But yeah, so there is still a lot of division right now in the American church, especially over abortion. This is the month, hopefully, that Roe v. Wade will be overturned. But as I've been telling people, that even if it is overturned, we still got to pray for a conversion of hearts, because you can, it's like prohibition. I mean, you can make something illegal again, but it doesn't mean that people are going to follow it. So you got to, especially with something like that, you really got to pray for a change of hearts. Yes, John Paul II did go to New Orleans in 87. Yeah, the thing was, I didn't really start taking my faith seriously to 93. I mean, I've always been a Catholic. I was brought up Catholic, went to Mass on Sundays all my life, every Sunday, every holy day, but really didn't start going to daily Mass until 93, when I first started discerning the priesthood. And it was that summer that John Paul came to Denver, which, if it happened a few years later, I would have been on a bus. I would have found some way to get to Denver to go see him. But alas, I never did. So, as Chris Persia says, John Paul II visited Sydney in 95. It was raining hard, and over 100,000 faithful still attended. Yeah, my parents got to see him. My parents got to see John Paul when he came to Iowa in 1979. It was the Feast of St. Francis, and I was only 5, so I didn't get to go. Not that I would have remembered anyway. But it's the thing. I really wish YouTube would put some of these clips online, because let me bring up one of them real quick. Being the history person that I am, I really do enjoy watching old history stuff, old news clips. Let me see. So let's bring this. Okay, so here we go.
In Dallas, a Dallas policeman.
So yeah, I do enjoy watching old news clips. This is from when JFK was shot back in '63. They have
assassination in a Dallas theater. The man pulled a gun, shot.
This is a 6-hour, almost 5-hour clip of news.
And was captured.
From
when he was captured, he yelled, "It's all over
1:30
now."
p.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Was taken
Eastern
into
time.
custody by the police. Of course, we have no information.
So. Yeah, so I mean, with all the stuff that they have on here, let me see if I can find. Hold on, let me see if I can find. Okay, so we do have this. Oh, this, I guess.
Brothers and sisters, may the favor of our Lord Jesus Christ
be
with your spirit. Amen. This
So yeah, this would have been 1979 when John Paul went to Des Moines. He also went to Chicago, but yeah, I mean,
America. God bless America.
see, I mean, they got all these World News Tonight clips, originals.
From ABC in New York, this is the Weekend Report. Here's Barry Serafin.
Good evening. Following an emotional farewell tonight, Pope John Paul II is on his way back home to Rome. Britt Hume reports on the Pope's final day in Washington. He wound up his visit at a ceremony tonight at Andrews Air Force Base outside of Washington, and Compton was there.
Americans found it difficult to say goodbye to the striking figure cloaked in scarlet.
Look how young he was.
Even the airport farewell brimmed with
I think he
celebration
would have
and
been
with crowds.
60 at this age, at this time.
It was in America's own words that John Paul found a way to say goodbye.
My final prayer is this: that God will bless America so that she may increasingly become and truly be and long remain one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In his final gestures, the Pope did not forget to thank the band leader, or the assembled diplomats and the security men, or even the traveling press. And with the full moon to light the way home, the Pope climbed the stairs of Shepherd One, satisfied that America had heard and understood his message of hope. Ann Compton, ABC News, Washington.
This is Britt Hume.
This is the DC
By the
mass.
time the sun rose over the U.S. Capitol this morning, hundreds had already gathered on the mall below to be sure of a place for the Pope's afternoon Mass. For the pontiff, the first stop of this long day was uptown at the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. There, too, a crowd had formed, and the Pope paused to greet them and to reply to their now familiar chant,
This
John
is the
Paul
National
II,
Shrine.
we love you.
DC. Beautiful church.
Inside, the Pope delivered what was billed as a major address, the role of women in the church, in which he reaffirmed his belief that women should retain their subordinate part in church affairs. There were 5,000 women present, and one of them, Sister Teresa Kane, leader of a group representing most of the nation's 140,000 nuns, delivered a strong dissent from the Pope's conservative view.
As women, we have heard the powerful messages of our church. I urge you, Your Holiness, to be open to and to respond to the voices coming from the women of this country who are desirous of serving in and through the church as fully participating members.
The pontiff looked pained,
Finally,
almost wincing at her remarks and the applause that followed, although it came from a minority of those present. When Sister Teresa knelt before him afterward, he placed his hand upon her head in what seemed a gesture of tolerance. Later, the Pope paused to give his blessing to handicapped children, many awaiting him in wheelchairs. Once
See, the other thing, again, John Paul, Pope of my lifetime. Yeah, I want to show this trailer. I don't think I'll get struck for this, but this is something I used to show the kids. Jim Caviezel. This is an awesome trailer. This is awesome. If you've never seen it.
Stettin in the Baltic to Trieste in the Adriatic, an iron curtain has descended across the continent.
Churches were closed. Part of the clergy were exiled to Siberia.
W tym komunizmie była ogromna beznadzieja i poczucie bezprzyszłości. I że każda zmiana, właśnie wolny świat, komunistyczny świat, to jest wojna atomowa, to był dogmat.
Then there was this incredible moment when John Paul said those words that changed the world. that
It all
were the
began in
first domino
79.
that started the chain reaction of the fall of communism.
Visit of John Paul to Poland gave rise to solidarity. Lech Walesa began the downfall of communism.
I odnowi oblicze ziemi tejże.
There was no way that you could contest Soviet power by force. It had to be contested by spiritual power, and he did it.
What John Paul II inspired was the conviction, I'm not going to live that way anymore.
George Weigel, the
Out
Pope's
of that
biographer.
transformative revolution of conscience came the solidarity movement.
John Paul II understood that men and women live and die for great ideas, and therefore he was essential to this dramatic new birth of freedom.
Yeah, so that came out, good heavens, that's almost been 6 years ago. So, yeah, so I remember when John Paul died, I was on my way back to Philly. We had just crossed into Illinois, and it was a long night driving, trying to get news on the radio about the Pope. And we got back to Philly in the morning, went to Mass, and it was weird because when the Pope dies, the part of the Eucharistic prayer where we pray with John Paul, our Pope, and whoever the bishop is, and all the faithful, that part of the Eucharistic prayer is left empty. So instead of mentioning the Pope's name, it goes straight to the bishop's name. And let me just send a quick text. Find out. Hold on. Just sending him a text real quick. Yeah, so it was interesting when John Paul died because we ended up going to the Basilica in downtown Philadelphia for a Mass when the Pope died. We went down for a Mass when Cardinal Rigali went off to Rome for the conclave. I think we went down for a Mass when the Pope was elected. And we went down when Cardinal Rigali came back from Rome. And I remember Rigali came to the seminary to talk about his experiences in the conclave. So, yeah. Anyway, I missed this comment from Man of War. So I missed the NOLA event, but the missus and I did get the papal blessing from him in the Vatican. Very good. So yeah, I was saying that, okay, so I saw Pope Benedict in New York in 2008, but then I got to see Pope Francis. Well, see is the right, not wrong word. Because on Sundays he appears in the overlooking St. Peter's Square from the apartment, and he's about, let me get the screen off. It's about that tall because you're really looking up a few heights and you're far away. So you don't really get to see the Pope. I mean, you can if you're close. The camera I had was able to zoom in on him, but, you know, again, it's the beauty of the zoom lens. So I did get to hear the Pope, but I don't know what he said because it was all in Italian. So, but yeah, I'm going to go for a little bit more. I do have benediction in an hour, so I have to leave in about no later than 40 minutes. Just checking the message, hopefully beginning him. Father Sinatra, as I might have said at the beginning, is having dinner with his parents tonight. So we didn't do the first Saturday stream this week, mostly because I know Odin's traveling and just didn't know if people were up for it. So, but happy to be back doing this again. So let's see. There was one other article I came across I just wanted to go over. Normally, I would be broadcasting to Facebook, but Facebook took offense to something I posted 2 years ago. There we go. So, how the pro-life Democrat went extinct. So usually I don't try, I mean, it's easy to get into politics, but the party, once a natural home for millions of Catholics, is now utterly hostile to anyone who opposes abortion. And that's the sad thing. I will say that I'm not a fan of AOC. She openly campaigned against the last pro-life Democrat. I think he was from Illinois. I don't remember the name, but he was the last pro-life Democrat in the House. The number of bishops that are supporting Archbishop Cordillon, hopefully came close to pronouncing that correctly, is growing. So, as it says, the Archbishop recently announced that he would block House Speaker Pelosi, a Catholic, from receiving communion in her hometown over her support of abortion. This was a welcome decision, but it's far from unprecedented. See, one of the great scandals of the last 20 years, I would say, I mean, outside of this clergy scandal, of course, was Ted Kennedy going around devout Catholic and everything, but one of the more prominent supporters of abortion. And again, I just remember when Robert Bork came up, Kennedy was one of the leading opponents of him. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know much about Bork. I was too young to remember Bork, but I do remember the term to Bork. It came out of that. So if somebody is nominated for the court you don't like, you Bork him. So following action earlier this year by the House, the Senate recently voted on the Women's Health Protection Act. That's a contradiction of terms. Mostly because it would go far beyond Roe v. Wade by codifying into law the most extreme pro-abortion measures. 12 out of the 23 Catholics in the Senate voted for the bill, all of whom are Democrats. 76 out of 134 Catholics in the House voted for it, all of whom, again, are Democrats. And this is the key here. Let's see if I can zoom in on this. Oops. It is ironic that the Democrat Party, which is built around the defense of the weak and marginalized, is so fervently committed to the right to kill the most vulnerable. 1/3 of Democrats in Congress today identify as being Catholic whilst advocating abortion. How did it get this bad? There we go. In 1964, Ted Kennedy convened a group of prominent priests at his compound to discuss abortion policy. The measure largely initiated the Democratic Party's embrace of abortion. In 2009, 64 Democrats in the House voted for the stupid Pitts Amendment to the Affordable Care Act, which would prohibit federal funds being used to underwrite abortion. Let me see. Oops. Reminds me, I got a form to fill out still. So, the amendment didn't survive, but the 64 Democrat voters were assigned a bipartisan strength for the pro-life cause. And here's the sad thing. All but one of those have either left Congress or have come to embrace abortion. Now there are countless examples beyond Congress of prominent politicians who are Catholic speaking out of both sides of their mouth. Biden, Cuomo, Schwarzenegger. I guess I forget that Schwarzenegger is Catholic. And the most tragic is that these elected officials are offering uncompromising support of abortion, yet face low resistance from the church. And I agree with this. What is maddening is that this is the result of the 50-year trajectory that was there for everyone, including the bishops to see. Kennedy started it, but the outcome wasn't inevitable. Yeah. The Church's failure over the past 50 years has been fatal. Some misapplied Cardinal Bernardin's consistent ethic of life, seeing the principle as a so-called seamless garment approach that raised social justice and other pro-life issues of the same importance as ending abortion. And Uncle Ted Theodore McCarrick, called for a gentle approach to garner support for the other issues. Ultimately, the Democrat Party, once a natural home for millions of Catholics, have become unwaveringly hostile to this Catholic citizen. Yet pro-abortion Catholic Democrats act as if they are in good standing with the Church. And that is somewhat understandable because there has been no ecclesial consequence for the support of abortion, the preeminent social issue of this era. So, anyway. Let's see. Yeah, our culture has hit revival or bust. So, I'm going to show one more video because I saw this on Twitter. Let's see. Oh. Okay, we'll go with this one. I will warn you that there are profanities in this one. Oh, excuse me for a second. I just got to knock at the door. Okay, I am back. That was my pastor. He is leaving for the retreat. As you know, I was on retreat last week, and this is the second retreat for our diocese, so he's on this one. Okay, here we go. Oh. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how this thing... Okay, hold on. Let me open a new window. Let me bring this up. Okay. Yeah, no. No, it is not a sign. But this video is a sign of how messed up our country is. Let's see. Problem is I have too many windows open. Here we go. So this is a video of Karen in Starbucks yelling. I dare you to try to decipher what she's saying.
Program that the city pays. It is not illegal to yell here. Excuse me, ma'am. You are helped when you are visiting the city. Would you please ask your family to correct it? You have been fired and sued several times. I will not leave your bullshit store. You have been asked very loudly about your family's contracts. You do not live off this salary. Good guy, with the understanding, I ask quietly and it is not illegal to be loud.
Get the fuck out, lady. Fuck out.
Look at the grown ass California asshole that can't afford to rent wherever you live.
Goodbye.
Okay, so I have no clue what she said. So. Oh. Just got a little thing. Let me see. Ooh. So, yeah. So, anyway, I think I'm going to start wrapping up just because I have to get ready for benediction. Somebody get me an old priest and a young priest. That Karen is clearly speaking in tongues. Well, it is Pentecost Sunday, but that's not the type of tongues we're talking about. But I mean, mental illness is a real thing. So, but yeah, with that, I think I'm going to start wrapping up. I'm going to go live again on Friday with the rabbi on his channel. So at my parish this week, we have a 6:30 Mass and an 8 o'clock Mass. I have the 6:30 Mass this week, so I should be able to stream at 8 o'clock Central with the rabbi. I'm on his channel this week. Then later this week, I will be doing on Friday again, I'll be doing the Friday afternoon stretch. I think it's the last one till Dallas because it's a week from Tuesday. I start the trip down south. Looking forward to it. So, last comments. Why is everyone acting like children nowadays? Well, it's because everybody's getting a participation trophy. The life of a hermit is suddenly that much more appealing. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that's really nice about retreat. But I will say, having lived community life for the last 3 months of this year, it's nice, but it's not what I'm called to. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Still over 1,000 subs, but I got to get watch time, so I'm going to try to still work on some more content. So till next time, God bless, and we're